So it's now obvious that Manchester City will be hitting the £200 million mark of expenses this summer, just like Arsenal and Chelsea. This time around, they are bringing in Matheus Nunes. This is Football Intel, and my name is Victor. So Matheus Nunes will be more like the fourth senior signing of Manchester City. And it wasn't, would I say, new to me that they will be adding a midfielder, because Ike Gundogan had already left the club, and the injury that happened to De Bruyne, it meant that they needed to fortify the midfield, not just the midfield, but the central side of the midfield. Then what then happened, they went on to look out for this young man of 25 years old, Matheus Nunes, who has been very terrific. And yes, he has spent only 1 year in Molineux, that's in Wolves, and he made so much impact. So then you ask, why Matheus Nunes? I'll start from there. Matheus Nunes seems to be a very cool guy when playing from the central. Mind you, yes, there is Kovacic there, but he plays more like an offensive kind of game. He also likes coming back to pick the ball from the back, moves forward, dispenses his ball left, right, and center. And one might also say that he has some characteristics like Kevin De Bruyne. But yeah, there's nobody like Kevin De Bruyne, because Kevin De Bruyne has higher range. Kevin De Bruyne can strike the ball from the back and he gets to someone at the far right. So these are some things no human right now can do it better than Kevin De Bruyne. But there's a lot coming from Matheus, because while in Wolves, remember Wolves, they were just struggling to take their head off the waters to survive outside the relegation box. And what then happened? He had, will I say, a challenging first half of the season. But when the second half got in, he got his gig. And he moved in there just like Ruben Neves, who has also left Wolves. I think the both guys were the ones that lifted them out of that relegation zone. And they were able to finish the 13th position, just one behind Chelsea. I'm not here to poke Chelsea guys, but you know what I'm talking about. So, this transfer is unique. Unique in the sense that Matheus, the story surrounding him might not sound so good. Why? Because when Manchester City were involved, as in when they knocked on the doors of Wolves, Matheus did not take it so cool, because he just wanted to leave. But mind you, you will not blame Wolves so bad, because this guy, will I say, he's been more like an instrument of business. Why do I say that? Let me start back on how he started his career. Mind you, he's 25 years old. He was born in 1998. He was born in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and then moved to Portugal. He's a Portuguese. Then moved to Portugal. At an early age, the father left the family. Then it was just about him and his mom. Then he joined Estoril, that's a club in Portugal. And he was signed for how much? By Sporting Lisbon or Sporting CP. He was signed for just 500,000 euros. I'm talking about just 4 years ago, 2029. 500,000 euros. So imagine, they signed for 500,000 euros, and in 2022, 3 years after, you were sold for a whopping £38 million. Can you imagine that kind of profit? So, for Wolves were like, come on, we bought this guy for £38 million just 1 year ago. And Manchester City wants to come and buy, and you want us to just sell him out like that? So they held their ground that they want to sell him for 60 million. And Man City were like, no, we can't spend that money. And what then happened? The young man went away. He refused to train. He refused to come close to the club. Sanctions were meted upon him. But I think Wolves also had no other choice than to just sell him off, because Wolves still needs the money. Well, at the end of the day, City had added just £300,000 to what they quoted for. That is 49 million pounds. So they just only added £300,000 from what they quoted before, when Wolves asked for £60 million. And this is coming without any add-on or anything. Just take this money and go. And what also made this deal to go through was that Manchester City were ready to just pay off that money. It wasn't going to come in bits. So I think that was the reason why Wolves had to just embrace the deal and let the young man go. Because at the end of the day, he might not just perform, and he might also cause some, let's say, some fraction of friction in the dressing room. But this is football, and it seems that the Portuguese, especially the Portuguese, you know what? How Benfica, how they make so much money from selling off players. And Sporting Lisbon had no choice. 500, oh my God, for 500 to 38 million pounds. So the question now is, will he be able to thrive? I think he will thrive. The competition is out there, and one will also say, okay, Manchester City has fortified their team the more, and looking at the positives for Wolves, because what Wolves had to do was to also use the opportunity to get a player from Manchester City in the name of Tommy Doyle, and they will be paying only £4.3 million. But there's one thing with this particular deal. I think Manchester City they are all above this deal. They are making mad profit or mad positives from the deal, because Tommy Doyle moving to Molineux, that's Wolves will pay £4.3 million. Okay? But guess what? By the time Tommy Doyle wants to leave Molineux, wants to leave Wolves, Manchester City will be making 50% of whatever Wolves sells this young lad. You see? Well, at the end of the day, one might just be like, will Wolves survive the league this time around? Because if you also look at it closely, you find out that Wolves are coming out from the days of having Portuguese players and Brazilian players. You find out that they are trying to change their style of game. As you can see, they had to sign Gary O'Neill, and they are more like pushing out the Portuguese guys out there and making their game look more like English. Now, Tommy Doyle is coming in, and a host of other English players that they want to put in their team so that they can play the game they want to play. So lastly, it's a good deal, I think, for Manchester City. The young lad has showed that he has prospects, looking like somebody that will break the ranks in Manchester City. All we have to do is just wish him well and hope that he will bring the best of his game to the club. That'll be all for today. If you have watched up to this time, please do the needful by clicking that subscribe button. Follow us, like our page, share our content, and we'll be glad to see you in the next episode. My name is Victor, and thanks for watching.